Hello, this is High Priestess Jamila. Happy Witching Hour. And I wanted to come and do a little bit of musing to newbie witches and to give a warning for people who are getting into the craft. Okay. Warning about being trigger happy, curse happy, wanting to create mischief. In other words, playing around with it is what I wanted to talk about. And I'm also going to talk about why I don't do curses. I don't do curses on people. I don't do that. I do a lot of baneful protection, baneful warding, um, which I wish wasn't necessary, but everybody ain't responsible. Just like everybody isn't responsible with drinking or driving sometimes or guns. Some people are just not responsible with these toys that we're given to play with. So I don't do curses on people. In fact, I've never crafted a curse. There have been so many people that I've wanted to curse. Things that you hear about in the news, awful things. Spirit will always say no. Stay out of it. So I don't do curses on people. I'm going to go back into a story of when I first started practicing 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago. And I did it wasn't I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. And this was before I had ever looked at a freaking witch video on YouTube. I don't even think YouTube existed back then. Yeah, it did. It did. I think YouTube, but I wasn't really on it. But I had access to a Botanica, and I knew intuitively that I should be practicing. So I started practicing again, didn't really know what I was doing. And I did this kind of like this curse on my landlord. It wasn't a bad curse. My intentions was not to hurt anybody, not to kill anybody, but I wasn't looking at the situation level headed. And then also, I didn't really go through the proper channels of protecting myself. Long story short, for some reason, it was so weird because I heard that man whisper in my ear and I could not sleep for 2 or 3 days. And right after that, I went through some bullshit, made out okay, went back to my mom's house, didn't practice again for probably about another several years. But, many of us, what I've noticed, hey, can you turn that light off? Many of us, what I've noticed? Thank you, honey. You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that you do your best magic by not doing anything at all. Because I just remember not needing to do much at all. But, now it's necessary. It's necessary. Magic and witchcraft can sometimes be necessary for the witch to do when it comes to love and when it comes to money and health and healing, which are three major things. So, and I wouldn't say avoid it, but I would say be smart about it. Okay. Yeah. It is important for the balance of your heart, your body, your hormones, your love life. Of course, money is important. Of course, health is important. Okay. So, I'd say that those are three major proponents. Um, and then sometimes you can be getting attacked by a witch and it'd be necessary for you to learn your craft. So, but otherwise, like I said, you can actually do a lot of witchcraft by unwitching, not doing anything. You can still bewitch. You can still be very bewitched without even lighting a candle or having a crystal straight up and down. Um, and I just remember that for years. But at some point, it may become necessary. Okay. Anywho, so there's a reason why I don't just do curses, and I'm very level headed when it comes to it. First of all, at my core, I'm just a good person at my core. And then also, being that I was born under the crystal indigo revolution, star seed. I do believe in star seeds. I'm sorry to all of my sisters that don't believe in that. But it's just certain things that I know about our earth and about our existence that to me should make a lot of the competitive natures of people, curses, playing tit for tat, those things should not be necessary. And they shouldn't be. Okay. Because I know about Gaia. I know about Mother Earth. I know how abundant she is. And a lot of the stuff that we go through or that we are afraid of, such as scarcity, is literally a trick and it's a fucking illusion. And it drives me crazy dealing with people that don't get that. And so I kind of go in my bubble and I don't trip. Okay. So I was born in 1977. And, I was born under Chiron. Well, when Chiron was discovered, but I don't think it was a coincidence that that planet was discovered by astrologists. the year I was born. Okay, so or anybody born under the year 1977. And so anyway, um, I think it's important to keep a level head. And I remember when I got back into the craft heavily, and I went through a lot of different things. I went through this process of connecting to it all. And so I went from only really having a deep level of understanding for Christianity, to becoming a polytheist, to practicing again. And hello, Trinity. Hello, welcome to the chat. And so when I went back into it, my main focus was cleansing and healing, cleansing and healing. And of course, if there is a certain person or people that may be connected to your life for reasons that are bad, like for example, if you have a false friend that is there to just parasite off of you or do harm to you, and that's the connection, and it's a karmic. Like the moment you start cleansing and you start to feel better, you start to go through these changes, you start to glow up, of course they're going to have a problem with it. Even when it comes to family, sometimes they can be karmics. And but otherwise, I was doing a lot of cleanses, a lot of healings, a lot of like protection and money unblockers and things of that nature. And then of course, again, there are certain people that can be posted up in your life that are just meant to block your blessings, which again is another trick. It's another illusion. And so, having no intention, but of course with people and their witch panic, people kind of panicking. And I think that when people become way too panicky, especially when it's people that personally, like family very well, they could be up to something. I'm sorry, that's just weird to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you upset that I'm protecting myself? Like, I don't get it. So, people that sometimes mean you harm, sometimes what you somehow bothers them. Maybe they're doing Bible prayers against you, Yeah. So, I don't get it, but it is what it is. But the one thing that you got to remember about it is that what you create is your burden. And when you decide to frivolously, a lot of people make this mistake. Otherwise, witchcraft can be a many splendid things. It's so fun and amazing. But there are some people that go into it and they make the big mistake of thinking, oh my God, I'm angry about some things. I'm an angry person that's not really level headed. Oh my God, I can do whatever I want with witchcraft. I can just curse people, hurt people. I can get in touch with my psychopathic side. Oh, my sweet baby. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, real quick. Okay, y'all, sorry about that. So, a lot of people think, oh, this is a shiny new toy. I can just play with it. I don't like this person for that reason. Just because you don't like a person doesn't mean that you should curse them. Okay. Really, to get deeper into that, just because a person may have done something to you, depending on what it is, especially if it's mundane, you still are not justified to put a curse on that person. So you really, really, really have to take the time, and you can't be an impulsive type of person. You have to really be the type of person that can sit back and be like, okay, should I do this? Okay, straight up and down. Somebody attacking your mama, your daddy, your loved ones, your lover, your husband, your brother, somebody that you love, your children, your grandchildren. I think that that is that gray area, definitely, when things get murky, to where, or if somebody messing with your livelihood, yeah, you can definitely curse with that, because that person could be having a detrimental effect on you, your future. And nobody wants to sit up there, like, honestly, I would never try to mess with somebody's future or their child's future to the point where they're going to end up living in squalor, or they're going to end up like no, because no. Okay, there's a huge difference between returning to sender and creating a curse on someone. And guess what? Let's say you just hex somebody. Let's say you just manipulate person, and it has an effect on the person that could be very dire, to where, maybe maybe a spirit got on them, and like they acted out of character to who they normally are, or whatever, not doing anything too seriously. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something a little bit happened. And then a lot of people will do that. A lot of people will play around with it. Not you responsible witches, because, many of us use it for what its purpose is. And so you do that to a person, and you wonder why you're getting all the negative karma. You created it, it's your burden. You're going to have to suffer for what you created against that person. So that's why you should not do it. That's why you should not use witchcraft to play around with it. You should never play around with it. Curses should be reserved for somebody that is either putting your life in danger, your health in danger, somebody, nobody should just be going around freelancingly cursing people frivolously. No, I do not suggest that. Okay? Because you may even see results of what you did. And a lot of us witches, we can just think it and be it, and it'll be it. Seriously. Like, I wish I could get back to that. I am, but you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people can just think something and it happens. But you have to be careful. Like, I am a person that believes that if a person has too many impure thoughts, that ain't good for you. Especially if you have powers of the mind and you cause something to happen. That is where, if somebody gets hurt or if something happens as a result of your curse, like, you just literally, that person never did anything to you, never caused anything about you, like, literally is like, because a lot of people are innocent. Like, I know that there's some people that just assume that everybody is a bad person, and that isn't the truth all the time. And you just decided, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and that person maybe falls under possession. Something happens. Guess what? The result of that, the actual result of what your foul intent was, is going to affect you. And I've actually seen it in court. I've seen it on some of my court cases that I've done for clients. Not anything like murder or drugs or anything like that, but just like court cases where the client was in some trouble for like maybe a small infraction or whatever. And that event happened due to possession while under a curse. Client walks away because we removed the curse. We removed the curse. Client was washed clean and clear and was able to walk away. And it's very perplexing to the so-called adversaries of that client, because it's like, well, dang, I thought I had that person. I thought that I was getting ready to send this person up the river, and they get away with it, which, and you wondering, how did they get away with it? It's because that happening could have happened because of a curse. And let's face it, curses can cause people to go under possession, right? So that person was innocent. And I'm not saying it's like the devil made me do it, because I'm going to tell you something. Spirit is only going to let people go with that for a little while. After a while, you have to realize that somebody's doing magical and you have to wake up. You can't just always fall victim and think that everything is going to be okay. Some people do. And they never even practice witchcraft. They never even light a reversal candle. Somebody else could be doing work for them. They may be protected under their grandmother or their great grandmother. Because I know, even as a witch, being a grandmother, I don't just protect myself, I don't just clear myself. I'm thinking about future generations and lifetimes as well. So you never know that person, what type of ancestral protection that they really got. And sometimes that ancestral protection can be buried deep within the earth, and it's solid, and you just running around here cursing people. And then you wonder why you see the result of that curse. You, in your life, the results happen to you. Now, is it a smart thing to create a curse against a person or some kind of hex against a person and continuously play around with it like you're playing ping pong? No, it's not. All of us experienced witches know that when something needs to be done with, it needs to be done with. Like, okay, this is obviously something that I shouldn't have done. This is obviously something that I need to transmute into something positive, learn the lesson, let it go. You don't just go back and forth. You can't return to sender a curse that you created. Not technically. You created it. It is your burden because you created it, and you can't go anywhere to just think that you're going to just be free of it. And I see many, many, many newbie witches that don't know what they're doing. And what they'll end up doing is they'll go back to religion, Catholicism or Christianity. But you still have that confusion and hatred in your heart, because you now you're standing before that particular God and set of spirits, and you're still confused, you're still conflicted. So nobody gets to run away from their own burden. So do not get with people that are like, be very careful out here. Do not just go and create mischief and conjure things that you don't know what to do with. Those things are going to come back and bite you in the butt. Now, I'm not saying that there's never a time when curses are not appropriate, because there are many, many times when you are justified in doing a curse, even a death curse. Even a death curse. I can tell you one thing at the top of the list: somebody trying to create generational poverty in your family and your ancestors don't work hard to break that, and you got some person trying to induce poverty into your life, you got every right to curse somebody. You got every right to death curse that person. That's a fact. Because poverty ain't kind. Poverty sucks. Going hungry sucks. Going to jail, getting sick, going through changes sucks. So if somebody's trying to do that to you, and you have not only an intention but a fate of brightness and good things for you, and someone is trying to change that reality, oh, you got the right to curse that person. That person literally stepped forward and said, "Free reign on me, free reign on me, just rain on me, just throw it all at me," because that person put themselves in that position, and they don't just have to be practicing witchcraft. It can be within their actions, the things that they doing. You may want your son to go to college and to get a good job or to take a trade or something. And you may have a person that is diabolical, that is doing something to your family that could be creating obstacles in that can either delay or darken your future of your family. So I feel that in those cases, it's free reign to curse. But to just be like, oh, I want to experiment with, you don't ever go into witchcraft talking about what you want to experiment with. Because you will fuck around and find out. Don't even play with it. There is nobody on this earth that does not have the right to reverse and return that to you, especially if they don't deserve it. And then you can't make somebody else suffer for somebody else's crimes. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very careful. And that's even, I kind of think that when it comes to certain religions, that's okay. But I don't know. In the Bible, they're talking about a goat. I've seen people try this on humans. In the Bible, I think it's is it Leviticus? One of those chapters of the Bible where they do this ritual on a goat. People are actually attempting to do that on humans though. And I don't want to find out if it works or not, to where you put your sins and your iniquities in the goat, and then you're cleansed. Okay. I am more of an eclectic witch, that while I do on a certain level, not to where I feel like people should be going around hurting animals. I think there's a more peaceful way. Of course, I eat meat, so I'm not vegan. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But animal sacrifice is not something that freaks me out. Okay. However, there is the elements. There's earth, there's earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So I believe that a lot of the things that we can set our intentions to can be done using fire. which is why I use a lot of fire in my rituals. When I do my cleanses, I use 7 or 14 day candles. Of course, we use water. Of course, we use earth, which is herbs, of course. And then we just use common sense and our spirits. If there's a bad spirit that I want to cleanse off of somebody, I can go to Hecate or Santa Muerta and even Lilith. And there's like a mirage of spirits and deities that will help with removing those bad spirits. Okay. The point that I'm making is that don't make that mistake early on. And witchcraft can be very rewarding. It can be very healing. It can be very empowering. When you go into witchcraft with your anger and your confusion and you're impulsive and you just want to curse somebody, you need to think twice. When you create that mischief, sometimes it can lead you to being on like a hamster wheel to where you're going around in circles. And I guess while that can be okay for some people, I personally like to commune with my earth spirits, my nature spirits. I like peace. I like happiness and joy. So I don't want to be wrestling with something that I created. And trust me, it can be bad enough even when you are defending yourself. Even if you were justified, can still lead to certain things that you have to do. For example, we can use this as an example in comparison. Somebody has an intention on killing you, right? They want to kill you, either physically or they want to kill you with magic, right? And they do. And you fighting for your life. You like, I ain't about to let them do it. And let's say that person dies or that person gets killed or something, right? While you were defending yourself, even though that person was trying to have you killed. That person was trying to destroy you. That person was literally like just out of the blue, just like, I'm going to kill you with either magic or somehow I am going to get you. Even after, hey, Moorish warrior, even after that person is gone, they ain't necessarily gone. Just because something dies doesn't mean that it's gone. Depends on the situation, what's going on. So even after you win this spiritual war and battle with this person that literally just, it's like, why are you trying to kill me? Like, what in the world? Like, what are you doing? Like, and you survive that, that person can haunt and torment you. And there's certain rituals and rites that need to be done, um, even after that happens, because a person that has lost it and they have decided, I'm going to keep coming at you, I'm going to keep coming at you, I'm going to keep coming at you, and I'm never going to stop. Even in death, they're still coming for you sometimes. And so there's certain things, and that you'll want to do, rituals and help that you want to call upon to protect you from that person's plight, from their mission of whatever it is that they have decided in their mind and their spirit to do to you. Now you still got to deal with them. So even sometimes when you just like, listen, I'm just trying to defend myself. I don't, you were probably a karmic in my life, and I just want to live on this earth in peace. Even if that is the case, it just still is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I can describe it when it comes to spirit. It just is what it is. Okay? Because, there used to be a time when everybody was pretty well versed on that. You know, these days people just kind of think, oh, la di da, and you don't even realize you got either a spirit or a poltergeist haunting you or watching you, or either, you know, at the gates or whatever. And hopefully you guys are able to have a deeper level of understanding, or the help that you are getting is to where the person understands doorways and understands the openings and the doorways to the spiritual realm, to the astral realm, to the etheric realm, which etheric is spiritual. Yeah. And then even other portals and doorways of which they can get in to you, you know. So be careful with that. Don't do that. See, I don't do curses on nobody. If I know a person is trying to curse me, I'm gonna do a return to sender. You know, people have spiritual wards, especially if they're not even trying to go there. You know, they're using it responsibly, so they have wards that they have put up to make sure that, you know, stuff don't hit them or whatever. And just don't use it frivolously. It's not a game. It's not. That's why I always tell people Ouija boards are not a game. Like, whoever that company is, that gaming company that makes the Ouija board, like, they don't really understand what they're setting up people for. It is not a game. It is not something that we are just being paranoid about. It is something that I guess you'd have to study the paranormal to understand that spirits and witchcraft is very real, and you don't want to go and do things, and you don't want to try it out. You do what you do in your craft out of necessity. You don't go trying something. You don't just go, oh, I want to try this thing that I saw, and I'm just gonna pick a random person. You gonna get yourself in trouble doing that. You just don't go trying stuff like that. Mm-mm. Hold on, y'all. Mm-mm. You gotta be careful with that. Okay? Seriously. Do not do it. If you are an impulsive person to where you got like ADHD or something, you better get a hold of yourself and you better realize what you're playing with. You better realize it. And there is, like I said, there's nobody on this earth that, you know, and I've seen people get away with it with people that just don't know, or they're unprotected. You can't carry on like that. So if you're a newbie, don't even do that to yourself. Don't even do that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Go into it with a level head. Be responsible. Okay? Be responsible, please. It's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that y'all subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and for more info, visit divineservicesapothecary.com. All right, blessings. Bye.